We're back with another episode of Jab Stab Monday, where we share a book, an online course, and a proverb that has resonated with us. Before we begin, let me wish our heartfelt wishes to all those people who were affected by the wildfires in Cyprus and to those who have lost their lives, both from Melissa and myself. If there is anything we can do or if there is anything we can help with, please let us know. We'll be more than happy to assist. Our program is being prepared a week in advance, and today we're talking about humor, and we're going to be sharing an online course, a book, and not one, but two proverbs. So if you're watching us live on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, just send us a note to see if you're here, and we're about to begin. First and foremost, let's begin with our winner of our Stand Up, Stand Out online course. Our winner who shared our episode is Roxani Konomu. She has shared it through Facebook. Roxani, I think you were a winner in the past as well. So if you have already gained access to the Stand Up, Stand Out online course, please talk to Melissa and you can gain access to an amazing webinar on sales with Jeffrey Gidomer, and you can gain access to that immediately for 1 year's time. So please talk to Melissa after this program, and we'll be more than happy to share it with you. So let's start with two proverbs, not one. As I said today, it's all about humor and using humor in training in order to engage our audience. The first proverb is from who else? It's from Charlie Chaplin, one of the best ever comedians, and his job was harder than any other comedian because you couldn't hear him speak, you could only see his body language. And Charlie Chaplin says, "A day without laughter is a day wasted." I truly agree with Charlie Chaplin, and if you can get people to laugh and get them to smile, then you can get them to lean in forward and learn more. I remember once I heard a statistic: if you frown, you use 113 muscles, but if you smile, you use only 11 muscles. So for the ladies in our audience and for the gentlemen, wrinkles come later on in life. So smile more than you frown, guys. And the second proverb is from Victor Borge, who said, "Laughter is the closest distance between two people." And I love both of these proverbs, so this time we use two proverbs. So by getting people to laugh, you close the distance between yourself and your audience. And I want to share a personal story. It happened very recently on the 30th of June, where I attended the In Business Awards in Nicosia. There were some amazing speakers who shared the floor. The president of the European University, Dr. Christophoros, was excellent. He had structure in his speech. He also mentioned me. I was so proud that he did in my book, Crisis, Let's Beat It, and I thank him very much. But the speaker who stood out for me is a gentleman you now see on your screen. His name is Christodoulos Stefanis, and he's the owner of Stefanis Electrical Appliances. Mr. Stefanis came up on stage. He immediately smiled, and he got us to smile as well. And he started by saying, for all those youngsters out there, you might not know what IMH stands for. IMH, which is the company that was organizing the events. He said, I stands for Ioannou, the former minister, Cyprus minister. AH stands for Hachikostis, and M stands for Michail, and the late Hachikostis, who was killed. So he started with this, giving some brief background on what does IMH stand for. And then he started using his humor. He talked about his parents who were watching live. He talked from which generation they come from, which were their family, what was their first surname, his mother's, his father. And then at the end, he said, and remember, and we all paused, Όλοι πάμε Στεφανή. We all go to Stefanis, which is his slogan, his company slogan. And everybody started applauding and laughing. So he finished telling us about his company and about his slogan, and he riveted that, he put this in our mind. So he used humor. So by using humor in a keynote speech or in training, as our online course says, you are more able to engage your audience. And as you can see now on your screen, this is an amazing LinkedIn course by by the gentleman you now see here. His name is Tarvin. And Tarvin has helped us to understand why you should use humor. We should use humor because there are more than 30 benefits. For example, humor improves productivity. In one study of more than 2,500 employees, 81% said they believe a fun working environment would make them more productive. Humor reduces stress. Humor prevents burnout. Humor provides motivation. Humor increases the size of your paycheck. Humor boosts brain power. Humor even helps drive our message across to our audience. And I know what you're thinking now. Can humor increase our attention span? Well, according to Jerry Seinfeld, the person who recorded more than 180 episodes with the comic series Seinfeld, people have an infinite attention span if you're entertaining them. And there is a study being done that showed that even goldfish have more attention than human beings. Goldfish can stay concentrated in certain cases for 8 seconds, whereas human beings can stay concentrated for 7 seconds. So how do we get them to stay concentrated? By using humor. And the million-dollar question is, what if we're not funny? Humor isn't just comedy. Humor isn't just about Seinfeld. Getting people to smile is as good. So how do you get people to smile? Well, let me use some personal examples. For many, many years, when my child Rolando was very young, I used to use this photo you now see on your screen to break the ice. I used to walk in and say to my audience that we're going to share our hobbies. So let me tell you, this is the kid you now see on your screen, and I'm not talking about, at that time, the 28-year-old kid. That's my wife, Christine, you see on your left. I'm talking about the 3-year-old kid. That's my son, Rolando. So everyone started smiling and by saying kid. And then I said, I have 2 hobbies. I start my day by swimming, winter and summer, in beautiful Limassol, picturesque Limassol. And my second hobby is the 3-year-old kid you saw on your screen. And when I went around the room so they can share their hobbies, almost everyone mentioned their kids as hobbies. So I turned kids into hobbies, and people started laughing after they understood that kids are not hobbies, but they were using them as hobbies. Another way that I got people to smile is when I'm always an ardent supporter that we should listen more than we talk. And I say that God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, and we should use them in that proportion. I can say that. You can understand that, of course. But what happens if I show this picture and I say it? God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, and we should use them in that proportion. People didn't laugh like crazy, but I got smiles. And when you get smiles, you get people to lean in. And when you get people to lean in, you can drive your message much more clearly across and more vividly. And there is a concept that I learned from this course. It's called incongruity. Incongruity is when you break the pattern, is when people see something that's a bit out of the ordinary, and incongruity gets some smiles. It gets people to lean in. The author showed this picture in his online course. These are the operating hours of a store near where he lives, he says. But look at the operating hours. From 7:56 in the morning until 2:04 in the afternoon, from 8:02 in the morning until 2:07. So you get the meaning. He got us to laugh, and once you get people to laugh, you get people to lean in, you get people to pay attention, and you get people to remember. Because in training, even if you're training with the best of trainers, you might walk away, if you're lucky, with 30% of what they said. In most cases, you walk away with 10% of what has been said. So if we can increase that 10 to 20, that 20 to 30, or to 33%, then let it be. And the best way to increase it is not only to be serious, but to add a pinch of humor or to use incongruity and get people to smile or laugh. So there are 3 ways to get people to do that. First and foremost is your sense of humor. You don't need to be a humor creator. You can be a humor curator. So keep those, as I said in previous episodes, if you find a funny story, record it. Keep it in your journal. You do not need to come up with funny stories. Some people find it difficult. So record them. If some people made you laugh, Write it down. I remember I was once watching Robin Sharma live, and he was talking about public speaking, and that's a topic I use as well. And he said, do you know which is the number one fear in the world? And people raised their hands. They said, and the answer was public speaking. Then he said, do you know which is the number two fear in the world? And the number two fear in the world was death. So public speaking was above death. And then he said, do you know which is the number three fear in the world? And we all leaned in, and he said, dying whilst public speaking. So everyone laughed. So I used it. From that day on, I recorded it down, and that's how I started Dress for Success. I always get laughs. I always get people to lean in forward, and it also relaxes them because they understand that public speaking is not an easy topic. People rate it as the number one fear in the world, even above death. And you know what Jerry Seinfeld said in one of his episodes? So if public speaking is rated above death, if I understand it correctly, if you're at a funeral, you prefer to be in the casket rather than give the eulogy. So he made us laugh again. So I'm using this. So write it down. Secondly, your ability to use humor, your timing, your inflection. Some people are very stalemate when they say their humor. They can say the exact same joke as others, but their tone of voice, even like in public speaking, is exactly the same. So practice. Practice makes perfect. And timing is also important. You say the joke at the time you want to drive your message home. It's very important to have good timing and great inflection in order to have better humor. And last but not least, your agency with humor. The story you use to connect with your audience. If you can be a bit sarcastic with yourself, that's great. I remember when I was doing a workshop for Papaelinas, they came up and they said, Michael, I think you should do something with your hair. We have a product, and they put a product here. It made my hair look dense, but when I touched it, it all became black. My hands became black. So the next time I had the seminar with Papaelinas, I never used it, by the way. I feel comfortable as I am, good looking, I mean. And the next time I had a seminar with Papaelinas, Paris Papaelinas, I used it. And I went in there with the most dense hair you've ever seen in your life. So I walked in there and I said, guys, I just had an operation. I'm not using your product. I just had an operation. And then after I touched my hair, they could see I was using their product. So dare be funny and make them laugh. So guys, just a recap. You do not need to be a comedian to use humor. Write down stories that you find humorous. If somebody tells you a joke and you like it, use it, practice it, and making self-humor, deprecating humor can make people laugh as well. And let me tell you another story to be very careful. This is a true story. It happened to my wife. So that's why you need to know about cultures. When Christine was working for a multinational company, which has offices across the globe, Christine was running a training course on the web. So she decided, and that's an exercise I'm using as well, to take toilet paper and ask people to cut as many plies they want from the toilet paper. And she said, go guys, get a toilet paper. And what does she do? They cut as many as they want. And some people act smart and they cut a lot of toilet paper. So every ply you cut, you have to state one fact about yourself. So if you cut one, you state one fact. But if you cut, let's say, a whole roll, then you need to say 25 or 30 things about yourself. So India was in the act as well. So Christine said, I give you 2 minutes to go and get toilet paper and come back. And the Indians were staring Christine in the camera. And she said, Christine, what are you waiting? She told them, go get some toilet paper. And they were looking and said, Christine, we don't use toilet paper. And Christine was a bit naive and said, what do you use? And everyone started laughing. And there is a reason why Indians eat only with their right hand in certain cases, not everywhere, but in the majority of cases. So Christine learned a valuable lesson that day. Use humor, but also know about culture. So guys, let me take you to the book. This is the book I suggest that you read to improve your humor. And let me ask Melissa to show the book cover, and keep it up, Melissa, so people can see it. So this is a book that is based on a popular class at Stanford Graduate Business School, which is an amazing class. In humor, seriously, they draw on findings by behavioral scientists, world-class comedians, and inspiring business leaders to reveal how humor works, and more important, how you can use humor to improve your seminars and training sessions. And you know something? I'll let you in on a secret. 98% of employees prefer their executives to have a sense of humor. And 88% believe that these employees do better work if their executives have humor. So this is the book where you can learn to drive and use humor and drive humor to increase the retention rate of what you're talking about in a keynote speech or in a training session. Thank you very much for tuning in. Let's see if we have some comments, and feel free to ask me any question. Let's see who's here. Stephanie Pilavaki, good morning and have a lovely week. Good morning, Stephanie. Roxani Konomu, I love it. I don't know if you love that you won again, or if you love our today's Jumpstart Monday, but please get in touch with Melissa, and thank you for sharing it. Guys, if you want a chance to win the Stand Out online course on public speaking, please do share this episode. Eleni, good morning, Michael. Amazing how humor can connect people in a more enjoyable way. Exactly, you summed it up correctly, Eleni. Thank you. Buongiorno, ti dirò la mia canzone. Flora Virardi. You have a beautiful surname, Flora, by the way, yeah? And let's see who else is here. Kostas Michalopoulos. Good morning, Mr. Virardi. Good morning, Kostas. And Kostas, please call me Michael. Mr. Virardi makes me look that I got older. Please call me Michael. Oh, my friend Andre, expensive hobbies, but worth it. What's expensive, my friend? Swimming. Sweetie Christou, good morning, Michael. Have a great week ahead. You too. And my friend Alexia Christofi. Good morning, Michali. Have a great week. You too. Richard Penninger, the head of business school at UCL and a great friend. Thank you for your today's SMS, Richard, to find out how we're doing after the fires. Means a lot. And George Ioannou, one of our most loyal friends, is here. Guys, have to keep my promise to my wife, who says, always keep it short. She says that a speech should be like a miniskirt, short enough in order to be attractive and long enough in order to cover the essential parts. So we keep it short. Thank you very much, and see you all here next Monday. Thank you also to Melissa for coordinating everything so wonderful.